Hello, everyone. This is Jonathan here. It started yet? Oh, it's not even running. Hello, everyone. This is Jonathan here from Blackheart Trappers Transport and Rescue on a discussion about Jocelyn Bear and furry critters and the things that we've come to discover recently. And the person who can best describe the ongoings in her home is someone who has been living with her for some time now. So, I'd like to introduce to you Alexander.
How's it going, everybody? I'm Alex. New to the rescue world. I love animals, and I've always done what I could over the years to try and care for animals, and I don't know how to put this, put their best health and interest first for their health and well-being. I've had animals my whole life, and I just recently moved to Florida. I was down on my luck, and my babies there were going to starve. I ran out of money for food, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know that there was a big community that helps each other. In the past, for me, everything was you had a vet, maybe a dog walker, and TV shows. So I've come to learn a lot about the rescuing and the rescue community. It's okay, Simba. It's right. It's right, puppy. I had struggled to get a hold of a lot of different, I don't know if we should say shelters or rescues or organizations, trying to get them food one night. And I was sleeping in my truck. It's okay, Simba. And the first person who answered to my call of help was Jocelyn Bear. I did not know any history. I was unaware of how procedures can work or how things go or what would happen next. I was in a very stressful situation. She had given me an address for the same parking lot of her vet and told me to meet her over there, and she came and brought food and water for Errol and Simba. We had spoken a little bit of, what brought me to Florida. We can get into that some other time, but either way, I'm here. I'm in Florida now. I'm not from here. I think I've been here. I've not been watching the calendar, but let's be for real. Maybe 3 months now, maybe 4 months now. I think I've been in Florida. So I met her, and I slept in that parking lot in my truck for a couple of nights, and she brought them food, and like I said, I'm down on my luck, so I ran out of insurance, and my plates went bad, and just trying to figure things out for my babies, making sure they don't suffer, that they have food to eat and everything. And from there, she offered to let me park in her driveway. So I parked in her driveway, and I slept in my truck in her driveway for a couple of days, and eventually, she told me not to go anywhere, stay home, and offered me a place to go and sleep inside in her house and gave me a bedroom and said, nothing will ever be an issue, and would you like to help me run the rescue? And I was actually really excited. I didn't know what happened next. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I was really excited and curious to see what I could do to help other animals. Maybe save them from a bad situation or a bad person or maybe a bad environment, or help them get food too so they're not starving and hungry, because I don't like to see animals hungry or suffering in a bad situation. It's okay, Simba. Come here, puppy. So from there, I'm living in our house, and when I first walked into the house, it was a big surprise to me. I didn't know if this is for every rescue or organization, but she had maybe roughly, I did try to count every day, maybe roughly say 40 cats, maybe 50 cats, 11 or 12 dogs, from small dogs to big dogs, young dogs, old dogs, kittens to old cats. Some of them would have medical needs, medical issues, or they were injured or they were abused. There was problems keeping the house clean before I started taking the ropes myself and cleaning the house myself. And there was a lot of aggravation and drama and not proper portioning of food or water or even dishes for the animals, where you could have anything from dogs locked in different bedrooms to cats and dogs free roaming downstairs to cats being locked in different bathrooms, and even under the bathroom sink where you'd open those little doors and see the pipes under there, and then there'd be cats and kittens down there. I learned that there's different medicines that they can take aside from going to the vet, and the big, huge difference between elderly cats and little kittens or animals that are sick and requirements that they would need. Unfortunately, dogs were never walked. I was not allowed to walk those dogs, even though I would still walk my dogs. They were not allowed to have free roam of the backyard up until recently, a couple days, which I found very interesting because that is not normal for my time at that house. I think, just roughly guessing, that I was in that house for at least 2 months. I never looked at the calendar. I never checked the days. It was crazy. There was a lot of stress. It was hard to get sleep. There was always arguing and fighting. Sometimes dogs would fight over food, or the cats would fight with each other, or two of the bigger dogs would try and injure a smaller dog. And not all of the animals were getting along in that house. You had possums in there, ferrets in there, a bunny in there. There were cats and dogs in there. I only seen, I think there was one bunny that did make it out and 7 cats that made it out, the kittens. Otherwise, I never saw any other litters of kittens or cats make it out of the house. I was told every time I would ask if there's going to be an adoption or if there was another rescue or maybe an organization or shelter involved, because I'm trying to educate myself for their benefit and learn how to do it the right way, if there is a right way. You know, like I said, I'm new to all this and I don't know everything. So I'm really trying to stick my neck out there and figure out, okay, how can we do this for medicine, bottle feeding, keeping everything clean, and is there a process for paperwork or phone calls or people to talk to or meet with for them to get adopted? And I was told stories for different dogs or cats or kittens that would be adopted out or that were only passing through temporarily for maybe a couple weeks and so on, whatever. And like I said, 95% of the animals that I was told would make it out never made it out of there, never got to go on walks, and were just not all of them getting along. It was really stressful, really bad, and it was a fighting, losing battle to keep the house clean and sanitary and keep a healthy amount of cleaning products, or maybe even the right or safe cleaning products. I know I've used bleach and Dawn soap and stuff like that to clean my own bedroom floors in the past, but I would never put that stuff down and leave it wet for my babies to walk around and get bleach on their paws, or maybe vinegar. I'm unaware if that's good or bad. I didn't really trust it because I'm still learning and I'm not aware. Or same with Lysol spray. The air ventilation was very bad in the house. I know the bathroom window downstairs was kind of cracked open at times, and same with the bathroom window upstairs. But aside from the front door being open and closed, or the back door being open and closed, that's where a cat would make a run for it. And if a cat got lucky, a cat would make it out of there. Otherwise, it was bad air, bad ventilation. You could breathe in there, but I don't believe it was healthy air. Not good for the animals, especially learning with some of the animals having upper respiratory issues, which I was starting to learn about how that could be bad, aside from cancer, leukemia, mange. A lot of these things worried me. I was worried about. Same with just like the dogs not getting along or the cats not getting along. The last thing I wanted was animals getting more sick than they were, or not getting healthy or healthier, or getting proper portions of food and water, or even being safe from harming each other. Because in my opinion, all it would take is for me to look away for 1 second and maybe a poor animal could get hurt. And there was, events where cats would be fighting with each other, or dogs would be fighting in a bedroom over food, or two of the bigger dogs, grabbed one of the smaller dogs by the neck, and fortunately the little dog didn't get hurt. The skin was not punctured, but that still worried me, and that scared me like hell for the safety of animals in there. The fact that I'm still learning all this stuff and not knowing as much as maybe someone else might know, with me feeling inexperienced versus experience of what do we do. I don't think this is all healthy or safe for the animals. This can't be right. Like I said, with a lot of the sprays and a lot of the bleach, I know the bottles were called germicidal bleach or outdoor bleach, but even with that being said, being mixed with how would you say, pine sol was one of the different cleaning products, or things that would like create a smell. It was very, very messy work, which I was voluntarily doing because I wanted the area to be clean for the animals, but it just seemed like it was never clean, and having piss and shit next to their food, and kitty litter being so filled up and used up like if it's
sorry, viewer discretion is advised, because the next details that he will be revealing to everyone, that everybody should hear from him, is dark. So if you're very sensitive, please tune out now. Thank you.
I started getting worried for my babies as well. As like I said, I love them. I know how to love them. I know how to give them love. I know how to care for them. But in my opinion, that could be a wide stretch and a big difference from caring for a bigger group of animals, and maybe mixed animals that might have special rules to their diets, or maybe they need specific medicines, where even though I did see with my own two eyes of them getting medicine in the house, I cannot verify that it might have been the proper amount or the right medicine, or maybe if it was even given the right way. I know that there were animals that were underweight. You could feel their bones on their back. Their paws were always wet. Sometimes they would even step in the shit or the piss, and it would be all over the house, and it just didn't feel like if it was safe or healthy or sanitary for them. There were animals that did pass in the house during my stay and before my stay that I learned. And, I just recently learned that it's against the law to bury an animal in the backyard. I don't want to offend anybody, but in my opinion, I felt that it was right for out of me to pay them their respects of a proper burial. So I had learned that there are animals buried in the backyard, and I'll do what I can to help bury animals as well.
About how many do you believe were buried in the backyard?
How many I believe were buried in the backyard before I got there is hard to say. That I never learned an official number, but since I have been there, since I have been in the picture, easily 4 to 5, maybe 6 for all cats. None of the dogs had passed away during my stay there yet, although it was still not healthy or safe for the cats and dogs, for especially when the dogs wouldn't get along fighting over food in one bedroom, not getting to go on a walk, or not being able to go with just a couple of dogs that would get to sit outside. The couple of dogs that sat outside would sit outside because one dog was aggressive with other animals, and I feel bad for him. I believe that he may be an only house dog, although I could be wrong. But I was told that that dog had caused harm to other animals, so that he would sit outside so he would not cause harm to other animals if, say, we were sleeping or in a bedroom away from animals, or if we were on a rescue or just driving around doing everyday life. So those dogs would get to spend a lot of time outside, but they would not get to go for walks. I was not allowed to walk those dogs, even though I'd walk my own. This is Ariel here. She is one of my two rescues from Seattle, Washington. They all came out of rough backgrounds, and it's unfortunate. It still breaks my heart today, but I still try my best with them to get them to cope with other people and other animals. And they do warm up to other people. Not everybody, but 9 times out of 10, they become very friendly, and they learn to earn everyone's trust and love them. They'll give you kisses and cuddle with you. They still struggle to cope well with other dogs, and maybe there's something that I'm not doing right that I did try to learn in that house to try and cope them safely, because I fear of any animal being hurt or injured. And I was told more than one time, more than 2 times, more than 10 times of animals that would be adopted, or that they're going to go to another shelter, or that they were just passing through and they never made it out of that house, or they never made it out of a bedroom. And some of them would have like a lot of snot hanging from their nose, or they're trying to bite one of the other animals or someone in the house, or they just would look more stressed out than actually happy unless you were giving them attention in the house. Then they would look happy and cheer up and jump on their little back legs and wag their little tails and want some attention and some love. And
Did you witness any of the dogs or cats abused there in the house?
what I witnessed, aside from the dogs fighting in the bedroom over food, or the 2 bigger dogs that tried to attack the little dog, you had a few cats that would like to go and pick on the other cats downstairs, and it didn't look like horseplay. It looked more like bullying, like if they just want to go and hurt the other cats, where you could hear the cats screaming from my bedroom upstairs. I would have the cartoons on the TV for my babies. I would be on my phone trying to relieve myself of stress of all the arguing and the fighting in the house, which I also did not care for, because, I'm trying to better my own life for a happier and peaceful lifestyle, especially for my babies and their health and well-being. The last thing I want is them to go through more stress, especially in a house cramped up with a bunch of animals that I'm not sure if it's a healthy amount or not. And I would mop the floors a lot. I would do dishes in there, wash cat piss off of stuff, and volunteer to do kitty litter and all kinds of things around the house, trying to be more helpful for the animals' benefit. And a lot of the things I was able to get into for cleaning the house, mopping, and like doing dishes and putting stuff away, making sure that like there's toys picked up or dirty clothes out of the way, trying to make things more safer for the animals. And it's a good thing you brought up the death thing that I forgot about. There was a baby kitten out of a litter that had just out of bad luck crawled through like a little hole in a blanket that we got from, I don't remember if it was in Hialeah or Miami. I struggle to remember all the locations, but it's in the Florida area somewhere. It's always been under an hour, even under 45 minutes for a drive to all these places. Some of them have been just like 5 minutes late. And that poor kitten passed too. And all these things really hurt me. And they're not even my animals, and it hurt me. And I didn't even know what to say. I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what to do other than give them a proper burial in the backyard. And I'm hoping that that was the right thing to do. I felt that that was the right thing to do respectfully for the animals. And if I was doing it wrong, I don't mind if anyone would be willing to teach me and help me learn more, because that was part of my goal when I said that, yes, I would like to be a part of the rescue. I've tried to get jobs with animals in the past because I love animals, and it's been a struggle. It is what it is. And I thought, oh man, this is really cool. I get to be an animal rescue worker like you see on TV, and I've never really seen that stuff in person. And now I get to be one of those people, and I have a phone number, and I'm on the Facebook page, and now people are going to call, and we get to go and help, a cat or kittens, or, a dog or the bunny rabbit. And one of the saddest things wasn't just animals that were injured. It was animals that people were just getting rid of. And I can't say that I know or am aware of reasons why they were getting rid of animals aside from claiming some of the dogs that were the biggest sweethearts, claiming that they're aggressive. But it's very sad to hear that just animals are being given away, or in my feeling and opinion of words, thrown away from the love that they were once having, to where they feel alone or abandoned or scared, and they might not know what's going to happen next. And I don't feel that they're in control, and I didn't feel that I was in control. And I try and learn more every day and every day and every day. And I even struggled learning how to bottle feed, but that's okay. I had patience to try and learn more, which I was not allowed to continue doing, even though it helped learn how to microwave the milk or get medicine together, or how we would go over to the vet and bring animals to the back for the vet, or pick them up from the vet, and so on for different cases.
From the vet you're referring to is Diaz, right?
Yes, Dr. Diaz. I don't know what the vet office is called, but it's right there next to Sedano's in that parking lot, right across the street. We went there I think we only went to one other vet one time for one case, when Dr. Diaz may have been busy or closed or something. But we always went to Dr. Diaz, and I always wanted to go back there and learn, what can I do to help with the animals? Is there something that I can do for them that will make everything better for them? And I couldn't take it. It was heartbreaking and sad for me, where I'd pout myself and feel like I was powerless if animals were passing, regardless of it being of old age or a health issue or a medical issue. I never knew what to say other than, I'm sorry and I'm sad. I would break out in tears and, wish him luck. And
Do you believe that?
it helped.
Do you believe the animals that Jocelyn and Furry Critters rescued had got the proper medical attention that they should have gotten?
I strongly believe that, even though I have seen them get medicine or start to bottle feed or maybe take on medicine or eat hard food, that they may have not gotten either enough of the proper care or just the right care in general, where they have had different medical issues either continue or just slow down but never go away or come back. One of the scariest ones that I really didn't like was Buddy. He was a colony cat. He had, I believe it was called cancer. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I do not look at all the posts, because my phone blows up all day long. But I think it was cancer on his leg. It looked like a big ball. And when that got popped off his leg, I felt that pain for him, and it just looked so painful and miserable. And he went to the vet, and he came back, and instead of having one ball on his leg, he had two more for cancer. So I just felt so bad for him. And I missed out on the next vet trip where I seen his leg was wrapped up and taken care of again. And I just worry that it's going to come back again. There's been animals where they'll be picked up and they're supposed to have vet care or medical care or be cared for a temporary time, where I'm told they will go back to the owners or back to the colonies or to another organization, rescue, or program, where I've been in the dark for a lot of it, which, really did upset me, not knowing a lot of the stuff. Whether I had any right to know it or not, I felt that it was important that if I'm trying to learn how to do all this stuff and put my time and effort into it and help out, that I should be aware of the situations of things that are going on, so I could be the best that I could be, more productive, more helpful, and maybe help save another animal. It was sad to see where a lot of animals wouldn't go back to their colonies or back to owners or new owners or other organizations that I was told where they would go back. Or even there were some rescues I did go on where people would ask for those animals to come back, and they were good people. They weren't bad people. They called around for help, and no one else answered except for Joycelyn. And I'm not sure if it's just from someone being busy, not missing a phone call, or maybe a shelter is full. But a lot of those animals, they don't go back. They get locked up in those rooms or those bathrooms, or they're free roam downstairs to get beat up by another cat, or at risk of one of the dogs that has to stay outside. So an animal will not be injured by any chance taken. So it was really, really tough and difficult. And, I put forth effort to try and keep the place clean, and it would just get dirty a lot. Even in the yards would get retrashed, and I would just, be stuck with more dramatic situations and a worry about the animals, all the other animals in the house, including my own, all together as a group, not knowing what's going to happen next to any of them, if they're going to be healthy, if they're going to, get to go on a walk again, or if they're going to see a good owner or go back to the owners that have been asking for them or even paying donations for them.
And how did Jocelyn handle the donations that were sent to her?
So I know donations, I know that I'm not sure the original cause, but there was a cause for some reason why she could not anymore ask for donations through a Facebook fundraiser, so she would use PayPal. That's what I'm aware of is PayPal. If there was anything else, I'm not aware of it. So there is information that I know I most likely will be missing or be unaware of, as they would like to take little secret trips out of the house. They'd be real suspicious too. With that being said, donations would go to kitty litter, it would go to milk, it would go to medicine that you could mix up, it would go to dog food. After all that stuff was covered, or at least after 90% of it was covered, maybe there would be a day where we were supposed to pick up cleaning supplies and didn't, or already had food while saying that we needed. And that little extra bit of money might go in the gas tank, or she'd get her nails done, or maybe we'd go and pick up some furniture, or the fancy glass vase type stuff that you'd see in the movies. That I'm just going to say, I don't mean to be mean, but I'm just going to say rich people, in my opinion, if that's going to help an idea of like the fancy stuff that you'd put in your living room or around your house to make it look nicer, furniture, mirrors, tables, tabletops, takeout and drive-through food, and new cell phones from constantly breaking them. And I've struggled from breaking cell phones myself. I even told her to get a case on her phone, but instead we're just going to keep spending money getting her new phones instead. They'll break, get her new phone, they'll break, get her new phone, they'll break, get her new phone, or keep paying $70+ for a new screen. And a lot of these costs, in my opinion, are meant for the animals. And what I would like to call it, the best way I could describe it as, if there was extra leftover or bonus money, could go towards more food, medicine, or cleaning supplies, something sanitary, kitty litter, you name it. If there's something I'm missing, you name it, for the animals, for their benefit, it would get spent and blown out of the water on the best word, in my opinion, I've been able to keep it described as luxury items. Because in my opinion, the luxury is stuff that you want, but you don't need, and in my opinion, does not relate to the animals. So,
and Hitchcock story,
a lot of that money would get blown. And with Hitchcock, I'm not sure of the deep details, but I do know that he had someone that wanted to adopt him. I know that someone wanted to adopt him from a different state, and there was money sent with a plane ticket and a little walker. And I do strongly believe, as much as I may struggle with memory, I strongly believe that there was extra money sent that was just blown just like that. And Hitchcock, I did see him in that little walker thing a couple times, but it was never successfully used. There was a bad screw in it, and that bonus money could have paid for a screwdriver or a tool to help repair or adjust the walker for him, so he could have that freedom of being able to walk around. Instead, it was just hung up on the wall to collect dust while clothes would come in the house, or drive through food, or a nice piece of furniture, extra gas in the truck, or just whatever else they would go and spend the money on for trips that I wasn't even a part of. I guess the best word, in my opinion, would be suspicious activity. if that is appropriate with me believing I was supposed to be aware of stuff involving the animals where they would just take off and I would miss out on rescues and I would feel bad like, okay, I just missed out. I'm not a part of this. I don't get to help an animal. I don't get to be there and be like, okay, hey, I'm here, little guy. I'm going to pick you up and help you out with food and water, or maybe find you somebody that knows what they're doing more than me. Just missing out on the rescues that I did, it really hurt. I kind of took that personally, whether I should take it personally or not. There would be secret trips where they'd, go out and spend money and come back, and not everything that came out of that truck was kitty litter or medicine or food, animal-related stuff. A lot of it was luxury items, for people. Nothing that could benefit an animal in any way, shape, or form. And some of those, like, vases, I think would be a good word for the taller glass furniture that might sit like this tall. A lot of things would get broken in the house. A lot of the glassware or electronics would get broken, and I would worry about the cats and dogs cutting their feet.
Relax, guys.
Okay, Simba. I'd get worried about them cutting their little paws or their arms with glass and hurting themselves and having to go to the vet, or maybe getting a infection or something that I might not know how to take care of, as much as I would like to continue to learn to be able to help them and benefit them for their health.
Does she have other animals that are not cats or dogs?
From what I'm aware of, there's the kittens, to the young cats, to the old cats, to cats with medical issues, to the small dogs. Yeah, I'm going through the list for everything that I know right now,
Okay.
from
Cool.
small dogs to big dogs, young and old. I believe that there may have been some mental struggle with some of the animals as well, maybe out of fear or a bad experience in the past, maybe being confused or not understanding a situation. There were ferrets in the house, which I thought was really cool. I don't know if that is appropriate or part of a rescue or not, as I'm still learning.
Yeah,
but I thought that was really cool
pets.
because I've never had a ferret before. I thought the bunny was really cool, having been able to hold the bunny, and the fur was so soft. And the most different one, which was a beautiful experience that I still really feel good about today, and I miss those poor little guys. There are 2 possums in the house. One is named Ren, the other one's named Stimpy. I don't know if they were younger or if they were older. I don't know if they were full grown, but they seemed like they were about a good size of a cat. They were really cool. They were really, really, really cool. And Ren, she was a big, big, big sweetheart. And there was a lot of fights in the house over who has control over the animals, or what the animals do, or what they can and can't do, or what will happen to them with maybe them getting hit by the mop, or something just picked up off of the shelf thrown their way, or them being yelled at and called derogatory terms and bad names just for being animals. And for all the years that I have had animals, or friends and family have had animals, I do understand that, okay, so maybe the bed might get peed on. Maybe your headphones might get chewed. I've had my clothes chewed up pretty good a few times. Maybe they won't cope well with another animal. Maybe they'll just go about their business and not really know better. Or maybe they'll know better and just do what they do to be, fluffy little fur babies. But I believe that it was not the healthiest place for animals in that house. There was no ventilation aside from the 2 windows in the bathroom being opened or cracked open, which still really didn't ventilate through the house, with the doors and all the doors being closed and the animals being separated. You had a big, huge crate in the house that would hold one of the bigger dogs at night to where it would go to sleep. And even though one of the bigger dogs wouldn't be able to cause harm by any risk or chance, as much as I really didn't like that or feel comfortable with it. The situation in the house with me not knowing how to handle it in a positive way for all of the dogs. You would still hear cats downstairs that would fight, or sometimes upstairs you'd hear barking or growling or hissing at each other. Dogs fighting over food and just not even having enough healthy, proper portions in the house itself. And
So they weren't properly fed. Where are they?
most of the animals, I strongly believe, did not have proper portions, where just food bowls were put out and go get it if it's there, go eat if you're hungry. And then if we're not paying attention, if we're not looking, or if there's just no one buying any food, then there's no food from hours to a day to one time it was even overnight. I did my best to stay up on the water, where I'd make sure to keep filling the water bins. I spoke up about the dogs not having enough proper portions that were in one of the upstairs room for bigger dogs, because I've had bigger dogs, and I felt really bad for them. And if we take a serious rough eyeball guess, I probably filled maybe 5 or 6 pounds of dog food in one food bowl to go feed them really good. And unfortunately, most of the situations wouldn't turn out to be of what's important of the animals. Instead, it would turn into dramatic, stressful arguments of who is in control, whose rescue is it, who has the power, who wants to be a part of the rescue, who is paying for the resources, who gets to tell which dog what to do or where to go or how everything should be done. And other people, I don't know if they would involve themselves or get dragged into it. I don't know if it was specifically on Facebook or Facebook Messenger or personal cell phone numbers, but there would be arguments and a lot of yelling that would more so break out into just power and control and about people versus about the animals. Especially when I spoke up, it really hurt to hear how it was more so about the people and not the animals. I believe it's supposed to be about the animals with their health and their well-being. And I do understand that times can be tough for people. Times have been tough for me, more than once. I know everything can be a struggle, or maybe it can be hard to find help from somebody who is willing to provide. And it hurt even more that if there was help that was found, that not all of that help was honestly distributed 100% to the animals, or even at the time it should have been. Especially for people that really, really, really wanted to help and do donations and make calls and ask about how the animals are doing, if they can come and see them, even though people didn't come to the house. I don't know if they weren't allowed to. I'm not sure. I don't know if that was ever my place to speak. Maybe they were just, waiting for the day for their cat or dog to come back to them as the original owner, or a new or original program or organization or shelter. I do know that there was rescues I was on where I learned that there was new owners or current owners that did the best they could to get involved in any way that they could to help out with, putting all their love into it. And they may have seen those babies in a picture, maybe they've seen them in a video, maybe they've seen them online or through a text message or an email, but not in person. Not in person. Most of those animals are still in the house, and I worry about from when I learned that an animal can have a upper respiratory symptom or breathing problems, even if it's something that everyone is well aware of. That's still, I don't know everything. I'm learning a lot of stuff. I'm really, really trying to become more educated with this stuff. I would worry about them not getting fresh air, or maybe not getting to stretch their legs or get space from some of the other animals in a more healthy manner versus being trapped in different rooms or transferred through different rooms or not getting the best of veterinary care versus some vet care or some medicine. I don't know. It was just very stressful. It was a big struggle, and I'd worry about the animals a lot. I'd worry about my babies a lot. I didn't know what would happen to the cats if one of them were to actually be injured badly by one of the other cats, or say if I were to fall asleep, or if one of us were to fall asleep without one of the other dogs that struggle, which, in my opinion, maybe something bad happened to them. I don't know. I wish I could help them all, give them all a chance, but maybe they're not meant to be with other animals. And if they're, that they struggle, if they were to hurt another dog, I may not be there to try and save one of the smaller animals in need. It's just, it's very scary, and I don't think that the way everything was over there as a living environment for them was right or healthy enough. I guess we could look at it from to not the best of fresh air with different chemicals that might be in the air, not the best of any airflow, to not enough portions, to just the kitty litter. I've never done a kitty litter box. I don't care. I've tried to force myself upon to be able to clean the kitty litter boxes a lot in that house. I think there was like 5 or 6 for 40 to 50 cats, and I was never allowed to. I think it's kind of silly, but they would be used up, and there'd be all kinds of feces all over the floor, in the kitchen sink, all over from upstairs to downstairs, and all the different rooms, the bathrooms included. Just not good. I feel that maybe a lot of the animals may be under stress or under fear, maybe nowhere for them to go to get some space or relax or stretch their legs, aside from running in circles in a big living room. In my opinion, I don't think that is enough space, or a small front yard, when they could be going for a walk for a few blocks at the very least, or more meat and ice cold water versus just water. They usually got hard food, and there was favoritism for cats that would get meat in the house. In my opinion, I don't know if it's right or wrong. I can't say if it's appropriate, if it's necessary or not, but I grew up learning for the dogs that, aside from their hard food, that they have their meat as well, whether it's safely cooked at home from the grocery store for their health and their little bellies and insides, or whether it's a canned meat from a dog brand from the pet store. I just never saw them, get any meat other than the favoritism for certain cats, and that worried me because I don't know if that hard food is enough for their system, if they'd ever feel satisfied from their eating, or if they'd always feel hungry. Because like I said, I've always given, my animals meat with their hard food, and I have not gone, in my opinion, overboard with it, but at least, maybe a little bit every day or every other day, give them a little can or a little tray of meat. I wish I could have learned more for the medicine to provide more, because there was a time where we had 7 kittens, and I learned from others online, from comments that I read, that they did not look healthy. And I can't even tell you if a baby kitten is sick or not. And I feel bad about that. I can look at a cat or a dog that might have mange or an injury or look like they're in pain, and that is not good, and I'll feel bad and want to do something about it to help them. But, I'm still learning how to bottle feed, and I was very open and honest with everything and willing to learn to benefit them, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to properly medicate them. I knew where to go to get the medicine, I had learned how to set the medicine up and how to warm the milk up, but I did not know how to properly, I don't know if I should say, dispense the medicine to them for them to eat it or through their mouth. Um, Not enough baths in the house, which was very unfortunate. It became very sad, depressing, aggravating, stressful, and overwhelming of not knowing what to do and feeling in the dark. And I just I wanted to be more helpful. And as I tried harder and more to learn more every day, I started to feel helpless. And that's just it. It's really not easy for me to do this or say this, but they need help. And I'm I don't like to say it like this for it to sound bad, but I'm assuming that there's a lot of people out there who can help them and can provide for them the way that they need, that I cannot do, that I would still love to learn more of. And it just didn't feel right for their benefit of their safety or their health or well-being in that household. How can they breathe in this air? Does that chemical hurt their paws or their skin? Do they feel it in their lungs? Is that the right medicine or enough of it? Are they getting too much of it? Is it the wrong medicine? Is the milk too hot? Do they need more? Are they getting hurt when they're getting scratched or hit or, bitten by another cat or another dog? Is the stress driving them mentally crazy? Are they getting stressed in the house with so many different animals and different types of animals in small confined spaces? I just started to feel powerless and more helpless than helpful the harder that I would try and not know what to do. And I felt that I was being pushed more into the dark than being more educated. And I'm not saying that I have a right to information, but I did feel that with me wanting to help and take the offer as an animal rescue worker, as much as I love animals, to learn as much as I can, do as much as I can, and do it the right way for the animals. And I'm assuming that there's special or certain specific ways that it should be done for animals that I don't know or don't know enough of, that it needs to be done a specific, special way where I'd like to learn more and I'd feel more in the dark. I'd feel more in the dark about everything, and it's not right for the animals. And I still worry that now that I'm not in the house, I was thrown out of the house. When I was thrown out of the house, I was thrown out for honesty. I was thrown out for putting care for the animals versus the care of any power or control or funds or being a shot caller or anything like that. There was a discussion about kittens that we rescued. That day we used my phone, and it actually felt really good. I actually picked up the kittens for the first time. I used to just pick up the cats or go and see the dog or hold the kennels. I used to be just, small stuff like that. It felt really cool to pick up those kittens and feel the life of the kittens, of me feeling helpful and putting them in the kennel, and we're going to bring you guys home and try and get you help and everything from the mechanic guy. I feel that I was put in the dark for that most of that situation, and I was told to bring them outside for another organization that's going to come and give them help and to give them medicine. And I did know where to grab the medicine. I knew how to prepare the medicine. I didn't know how to distribute the medicine. And I was worried for the cats when I was told that they're not well. And when I had brought the kittens outside so they could get some help, I was happy. I was very curious, and I even asked, oh man, that is really cool. How did you guys do that? How did you guys get them to take medicine? How did you guys get them to bottle feed with the milk so I could learn how to do that for the future to help them, pretending if I'm the only one there, although I am learning that there's a very big, wide community of a lot of people there with very, very big hearts and love going out there to help them all, which I appreciate so damn much. I don't even know how to put into words. But I was honest, and I said, hey, I know about some information with cats, not everything, and I know about dogs. And I don't know what I'm doing, and I'd like to learn more. And how did you guys do this? And turns out, at the end of the day, I had learned that they received good care when they were picked up, but the situation was not turned into the health or well-being or safety of the cats. It was more so turned into being about people, not about animals as a rescue, where, in my opinion, should be about the animals. It was about people. So, because I was honest, caring for the animals, and said, I would like to learn, how did you do this? I don't know how to do it, and I don't want to injure an animal or harm an animal myself for me not knowing how to do a certain task or medication, because I worry about that too, and how to properly hold a baby animal and so on. I was told that I was a backstabber, that I was ruining an organization, that I am not needed, to pack my bags and leave. And I was already stressed out. I was up all night, being dragged into a dramatic situation about people and not about animals. And, I got very stressed out, and I decided to speak up for myself. And I said, hey, I was honest. This is about the animals. This isn't about people. And I was caring about their health and well-being. And who am I to stand there alone and not say anything if I don't know what to do? I spoke up to the people who came to give those kittens help, to say, hey, thank you for doing what you guys are doing. Can you teach me or show me how to